What was it like playing her role? I mean, when we first met her, Snips, right? She was a snippy little Padawan. Thank you. and all of a sudden, when we saw her in the last episode of Clone Wars, and then we obviously know where her story goes, she became such a powerful leader.
I have the high ground.
This is for my documentary, Expanding Anakin.
There you go.
I'm the BTS crew for his documentary.
So let's bring out the cast of Clone Wars, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello there.
There we go.
It's not a panel until we say it. You're a bold one, yes, you'll move.
So I guess we'll start right down. We're going to just go right down there. I'll have everybody introduce themselves and tell you who they played, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling here.
Yes, my name is Matt Lanter. I play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hi, I'm James Arnold Taylor, and I play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there. I'm Ahsoka Tano, and I play Ashley Eckstein.
They're too funny. I'm Nika Futterman, and I play Asajj Ventress.
Not as funny, but that's okay.
Not as funny. I was like, I can't follow that.
I'm James Arnold Taylor, and I play Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, man. I don't know. I can't top that. I'm just stuck. I'm Hondo Ohnaka, and I play Jim Cummings. There we go.
So, folks, welcome to White Plains, New York. It's good to see you all here.
Yes.
Welcome to Undiscovered Realm. So I guess we're going to just kind of kick off. You guys are on this show that breathed life into the prequel trilogy and really kind of generated a whole new generation of Star Wars. Just a little bit, when you guys first signed on for this animated Clone Wars series, which kind of was never done before, did you have any idea that it was going to blow up into this amazing thing that it has now?
Yes.
Ditto.
I mean, I think I can speak for all of us. No. I mean, of course we hoped. You know, it's Star Wars, and I think we all know the legacy. You know, I'm just going to take this off right now because I'm too short. We all are Star Wars fans, and we all know the legacy of Star Wars. And Star Wars has been around for almost 50 years, and will be around for another 50 years. And so to be a part of Star Wars, I think we all hoped that it would become a part of the universe. But I don't think any of us thought we would be here. We started in 2006, so math in my head is hard. But how many years have we been working together?
A long time. So I started on the micro series of the Clone Wars, which was 2002, so it's been 23 years of Obi-Wan Kenobi for me. And then, yes, I'm very old. And then we started in 2005. Do y'all know that we were 2 years ahead all the time? Do you know that? We made them 2 years ahead. That's because George Lucas had enough money to do something like that before he even found a network. But it made it great for us because people were watching the show and then we go, just wait. Because we knew, right?
Yeah.
Well, imagine my surprise. I thought it was Star Trek. So I'm as shocked as anyone. I'm just glad to be here. I'm a cheeseburger in paradise. What about you, Kat?
Were you all Star Wars fans prior?
Oh, yeah. Oh, heck
Well,
yeah.
Matt, were you, you weren't as big of a Star Wars fan as, say, Catherine Tabor, who was, I think, the biggest Star Wars fan actually on the show.
Until Sam Witwer.
Till Sam Witwer came.
Oh, yeah.
No, I wasn't not a fan. I just didn't grow up with Star Wars. My parents weren't Star Wars people, and so it wasn't on my radar, I guess. I mean, I knew it pop culturally. You know, obviously I know who Darth Vader is, and I just didn't know how all the relationships connected. And I didn't know the detail. And I think that helped me because...
Oh, gosh.
It's a fly.
Is it a big?
No, it's just a fly. She's got a thing with bugs. And
not a Jedi, just plays one on TV.
yeah, Ahsoka is afraid of flies.
Okay, wait, let me just preface. I live in Florida, and right now
You
there's
have
these
alligators.
No, but there's these giant flies called yellow flies, and they sting
They
you.
bite you.
And they're like venomous. And so now when I see a big fly, I'm like, it's gonna sting me.
So now you know how to greet her at the table. Ashley, hi. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I was just
This has evolved very quickly, sorry.
I think it helped me that I wasn't a huge fan because when I was cast, I had a meeting with George and we talked about Anakin. And I was fine in the meeting, whereas now I would probably be very nervous, like any huge Star Wars fan would be. But I was okay, and it was great. So it probably helped me that I wasn't as huge of a fan as I am now. My dog's name is Ahsoka. I had Star Wars in my wedding vows, so...
Yeah, I didn't mean to imply you weren't a star, but just that you didn't know it as well at that time when you first came in.
Correct.
And how do you feel about sand?
How do I feel about Sam?
Sand.
Sand? Oh, I hate sand. Yeah, it's coarse and it's rough. And it's irritating.
Gets everywhere.
Gets everywhere.
Well, Matt, let me ask you. Coming into this, and I mean, you probably watched the prequel trilogy leading into this. What aspects of Anakin did you feel like you got to explore the most with playing him in this really brief period of his life?
Yeah, well, I think what we did uniquely in the Clone Wars was really... Are you recording me?
Yes, I am.
Is we got to...
No, I'm recording your recording of him. I'm recording. So now you...
I'm going to record you guys, record me. All right, here we go.
This is what it was like behind the scenes.
it's
If you
amazing,
want to
actually.
peek behind the curtain, this was it.
We got any work done. What was the question? Where were we? Where are we?
Expanding Anakin.
Expanding Anakin. That's a good documentary.
Expanding Anakin.
Expanding Anakin. What we got to do is we got to give Anakin a heroic side of him that we heard about in the films. We didn't really get to see it in the films. And I think that was one thing that George had really stressed, is that we wanted to see this Anakin as swashbuckling and with bravado and at times funny. And I think the end goal was to like the guy and make him a hero. And it helps when he falls. It's so much more tragic because you really hate it for this guy. And he's like this great Jedi that could have been. And we kind of got to see it in the Clone Wars. And then, of course, spoiler, it happens.
What?
Yeah.
You were the chosen one. What do you mean?
And it hurts more.
Thank you. Ashley, your character, Ahsoka Tano, right? She's become one of the most beloved in the Star Wars franchise, like between animation all the way to live action. What was it like playing her role? I mean, when we first met her, Snips, right? She was a snippy little Padawan. Thank you. and all of a sudden, when we saw her in the last episode of Clone Wars, and then we obviously know where her story goes, she became such a powerful leader.
I have the high ground.
This is for my documentary, Expanding Anakin.
I'm the BTS crew for his documentary.
Ahsoka says, "You're stuck with me, Sky Guy," or "I know what I'm doing," or "Ship crashed, I saved the day, you're welcome." I don't know why I said that.
Snippy.
But I think, and now I forget what the question was.
Her growth from being snippy to such a strong leader all the way in through Rebels.
Well, I was just talking with a couple of fans at the table about this. I'm so grateful that we had so much time. Going back to the fact that we started, we auditioned in 2005, and actually I had my first record in February of 2006. it's very rare nowadays that you get so much time to develop a character. I mean, think about it with now streaming and then binging and, of the shows. We don't get those moments like we had with Clone Wars. I want to know, who's been watching Clone Wars since 2008? Okay, right? So who remembers the feeling of a new episode on Friday night or Saturday morning, right? And it's like the emotion of, getting a pizza and watching it with your family, or waking up on Saturday morning and eating cereal and watching Clone Wars. It's literally your childhood, or, for us, it was our adulthood. But there's so many memories, and especially with Ahsoka. I think the reason we all feel so attached to Ahsoka is Ahsoka was the eyes of the audience. So you were meant to watch and experience Clone Wars through Ahsoka's eyes. So when she failed, you failed. Like when you failed in school, you could really feel with Ahsoka of what it's like to fail, or when she succeeded at something. When you succeed, it's like and that's also why I say today, Ahsoka lives in all of us. Because while she was groundbreaking for girls, she wasn't there for just the girls. She was the eyes of the audience. She was there for all of us. So we all experience the Clone Wars through her eyes, and we're all connected to her in some way. And I think in many ways, we all carry a piece of Ahsoka in our hearts and in our minds today. So thank you for your support. And Ahsoka lives in all of us now.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much. James, Master Kenobi.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, in regards to your role, how did you breathe life into Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because you had Ewan McGregor and Sir Alec Guinness, who really originated this character. What did you do to flesh out his character more than what we already knew?
To not make it me doing an impression of Ewan McGregor, doing an impression of Alec Guinness, doing an impression of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It did start as I'm on camera, right? Okay. It did start as a voice double. So in my career as a voice actor, I double a lot of people that aren't available. So for example, for like Hiccup and How to Train Your Dragon, not the new live action, but the animated, if Jay Baruchel isn't able to do the voice, I come in and do his voice. Or, whoa, wait a second, Doc, you mean to tell me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Yeah. The way I see it, Marty, if you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do some style? So if they're not available, I come in and do their voice, Captain Jack Sparrow or whoever. So it was just another voice double to some degree, because I had no idea it was a Star Wars cartoon, because it was the micro series. And then when we came back for the new one, it was really pretty great that they kept me on. I was excited, and then I got to work with these amazing people. And then the fact that Jim Cummings came in and did this fantastic character that with any other actor, it would have been like a one-episode thing. Mm-hmm. And that Hondo would have just been like, oh, character, yeah, that was cool. Jim came in and just took so much control of this character and who he was that everybody fell in love with him instantly. And now we have Hondo at the Millennium Falcon ride at Disney World and Disneyland. That is due to the amazing Jim Cummings. So,
Give him money, give him money, give him money.
So for me as a voice actor, I've seen his lines. He can afford to give me that. No, so the thing is that's what we all hope for, is the ability to have a career like legendary Mr. Jim Cummings, but also that we can affect lives the way Ashley was talking about it, in a way that you all wake up in the morning excited to see something. So to be a part of it is just a humbling experience, and I'm blessed to know and have these people be my family. So.
Oh, amen. Well, I got to jump in real quick because this guy is a friggin' giant, and he forgot to mention he's another character that we've worked with, aren't you, Christopher? Yeah, he does. He's done Ewan McGregor more than once. How you say? And by that I mean
It's a family show, Jim. It's a family show.
Never mind.
Christopher Robin, the movie. Yeah, we got to work together in that.
Yeah.
I did some voices in that movie.
Yeah. I walked in one time, we're doing ADR, which is when the movie's done and then you're going in to, spackle it up or do it right. And I thought, oh, this is cool. I couldn't see who was there, but Ewan was doing his lines. And so I walked over, I sat down, I got a cup of coffee. Then I looked up and there's James Arnold. He's going, hi, I wonder what he's doing here. Oh my God, he's Ewan McGregor. And then he starts talking, and I went, okay, never mind. More magic from Jat. Here we go. Anyway, yeah.
Well, Jim, I do want to ask you that question. Hondo, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the appeal is that he became such a fan favorite? Again, going all the way to this ride in the park now.
Wow, I don't know. I'm really proud of him. He was only in one or two shows, I think, at the beginning. He was a big guy who was going to come in and make a big mess and then not be heard from again. But we'll have none of that. So I just, it's a lot of fortune. And, I think I speak for a lot of us when I say that we take our work rather seriously, but not ourselves. And so you go in and you end up, you take chances here and take chances there. And one thing that I've always, mini philosophy for what it's worth is, I'll always do, because I ad-lib a lot, and big shock, but I always do one as written, and then I do one that they should have written. And I just lucked out, and a lot of them stuck. And I think that's kind of like branding a little bit, if you will, if that's possible to do. But it gives people something to hang on. And, I've had so many people, a lot of you, what would Hondo say? What would Hondo, And he's always got a pretty good line. So I'm just very, very, very grateful. And the next question will be, the answer will be Charles Bronson and Yul Brynner. And that's where I got the voice. Because he doesn't sound like he's from anywhere particularly. And I go, good. But he sounds foreign. Right?
Yeah. And Catherine and Nakia, I have a question for both of you. You play two very strong female characters, right? Padme's emotionally and politically invested in this. She's got the weight of the galaxy on her. She's dealing with the stuff with Anakin. And then Ventress, she's kind of flip-flopping all around, the villainous to this redemption part of it now. Talk about their strength, their complexity, and how you find those with those characters.
Well, I say this a lot. There's always this idea that there aren't strong female characters. And then when there are strong female characters, sometimes they lose some of the feminine, which I feel like is sad because they can exist together. And one of the things I've just loved about playing Padme is that she has beautiful dresses and interesting hairdos and all of these things, but she's incredibly intelligent. She's probably smarter than, well, not Ahsoka. But
I don't know about that. Padme's so smart.
But she's really astute and wise beyond her years, but she still is graceful, and anytime that anyone said she was a pacifist, and this is why I loved working with Dave, because he agreed she wasn't a pacifist. Satine is a pacifist. Padme believed in diplomacy. She believed in diplomacy until the point at which aggressive negotiations was needed. And then she was perfectly willing to pick up a blaster or someone's lightsaber if it was laying around. And I love that dichotomy, because I think it should be, there's all different kinds of strengths, and definitely you can be very strong and wear a dress. So.
Yeah.
I know I am when I wore.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if Asajj would ever wear a dress, but she'd look good in one, I think. Yeah, but I think, I can't remember what the original question was, but I'm just going to say that what I love about Asajj and her because it's what you were saying, is that I think that she's this very multi-layered character that could easily have just been sort of one note. Mm-hmm. And so we got to explore this really powerful chick that, has a very sad backstory and, I think has all the reason in the world to have become what she was in the beginning. But always at her core, I felt there was a heart in there. And you see it through the Clone Wars. You see it, moments of motherliness, and now as we have started to see her again, we're getting to see that more and more. What made me sad was that we sort of abruptly ended her story before we ever got to go where I think she would have gone if we had given, if Clone Wars had continued in the way it was going to. But now I'm super excited that we're going to get to explore her multi-layered deliciousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I know we have a lot of fans out here, so I do want to turn it over to some audience questions now.
All right, your name and your question.
Hi, I'm Ashley. Ashley knows this.
Hi, Ashley.
We gather often, whatever. Now, so this question is for all of you and inspired by my dog named Anakin. So my question is, if each of your characters had an in-universe pet, what kind of pet would you have?
Something with talons.
Yeah.
Something with talons.
Yes.
Can we have a Yoda pet?
Well, okay, so I'll answer this because some people know it's been released, I think, as like concept art somewhere. But Dave Filoni texted me one day years ago, and he said, "What's your favorite animal?" And I didn't know how to answer that. I figured if it has something to do with Star Wars, I shouldn't really say a dog or a cat. So I just said monkey, because I've always liked monkeys. I thought they were cute. And he was like, "You've got to be kidding me." Well, little did I know that Dave Filoni does not like monkeys at all. Like, he literally, despises them. I didn't know this.
So random.
It's so random. How would I have known that?
How do you not like a monkey?
Yes. So what he was doing was he was designing a new costume for Ahsoka, and he was going to put an animal on her boot. And so he did it, even though he despised monkeys. He actually put a monkey on Ahsoka's boot, and we call it her boot monkey. But that costume never really went anywhere. So there is concept art. It has been released. So if you see a monkey on her boot, that's how it happened, and he was not very happy about it.
And Matt, you were the voice of the Muck Muck monkey in
Yes,
Clone Wars.
yes, that took a lot of talent.
Do you remember? Yeah, do you remember what you did
Sort of
for
like
them? Eat your heart out, T. Bradley Baker.
That's right.
They paid me real dollars for that.
Pets, I don't know. Cat?
I feel like, first of all, I love animals. Anyone who follows me on Instagram knows that. I feel like Padme would maybe have the Naboo equivalent of a horse that she rode. That was like her best friend that she went to ride when she needed to get away from everything.
And it wouldn't like Anakin.
She wouldn't want to get away from Anakin.
It would be a male horse that was maybe jealous of Anakin, and they could have that funny thing where it tried to kick him when I wasn't looking.
Yes.
That's awful.
I'm liking this. Someone should write this.
That funny thing. Ooh, naughty girl.
Anakin would have a pet that flies, I think. So he could,
Yeah.
A hawk?
ride.
I think a griffin.
Like an avatar.
Yeah, like an
Griffin
avatar.
would be good.
What's that?
A griffin,
Yeah. A
or
griffin.
lion.
Yeah, for sure.
Talons. Got talons.
Yep.
Wings.
Yep.
I think Obi-Wan would have like a little Scotty dog. With a little beard, Say, hello, how are you, Scotty? And he's like,
That's a great question, though.
yeah, I like that. I don't think anybody's ever asked that.
Never been.
Love that.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
And our next question.
Oh, you know what, though? I feel like Ventress would have one of those hairless cats because...
Like Dr.
No, but I say
thinking. I
that
was
because remember, didn't you call me a hairless harpy?
Yes, I did.
That's the only reason I'm saying
That was just before we got on stage then, so.
So I just feel like,
That's good.
yeah, I like that.
1 million credits. Okay. All right, next question.
Hello there.
Hello there.
My name is Will. I'm a huge fan. My question is, so Clone Wars was obviously canceled way too early. And so my question is, and I don't know how much you can say, but I'm curious, there were a lot of stories and episodes that were kind of left on the cutting room floor. I'd be curious to hear what was one story or an episode that everyone wishes that they could have gotten to do that you weren't able to?
Well, I feel like you
All
said,
the rest of them that I wasn't in. That's
you
easy.
said that most of the stuff that we had recorded was eventually used, right?
Yeah, for the most part. And then they also kind of, I think, Rebels took some of the storylines that...
There was the campfire scene that
Yeah,
I know it's on the internet.
Somebody has animated it beautifully. Somebody animated it.
It's a great scene. He's talking to Obi-Wan about Ahsoka, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great, like, emotional scene. I would have loved to have seen that in the show. But
And it would have been really important, I think, for that to have been a part of things, because it was the one part that we never explored.
Anakin's very bitter in that moment about like the loss and like kind of the failure of.
I think that was the last one you and I recorded together.
Is it?
And we were nearing season 8, you know. Thanks, Will.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, name and question.
Hi, I'm Sean, and my question is, if you guys could cross over with any TV show, what would it be?
Winnie the Pooh, right?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Oh, bother.
I've often said I'd love to have a crossover with Doctor Who. Because I can only imagine the adventures that would happen between the Doctor and just the crew up here.
Mine's not a TV show, but it would definitely be something combining with Lord of the Rings, which is my favorite.
Lord of the Rings, I watched this show on NBC for a while that I loved. It was called Timeless. And it starred this hunky guy that traveled through time with these other people.
Time traveling Jedis?
Yes.
That actually would be cool.
It would be cool.
Actually, I watched a show once called 90210, and it would be really cool to have our characters as students at 90210.
Go back to school. School's a drag Ahsoka. Like Ventress was like totally giving me the stink eye lunch.
I mean, and Anakin just has this crush on Padme.
I know.
But
something's going on there.
But she acts like she doesn't like him, but
Fully.
I think she does.
Totally.
You guys, you really thought this out. Like,
Yeah.
like scripted.
Hey, Ashley and I, for the longest time, wanted to do an Obi-Wan and Satine Broadway musical. We thought it would have been great. They would have none of it, though. They said no.
Dave used to tease. I remember I would go from the set of 90210. I did 90210 for 5 years. Dave used to tease me. I would go from the set of 90210 up to record, and he'd be like, "How many women did you make out with today, Lanter?" Like, I don't know, man. Like, let's do Star Wars.
Thank you.
Your name and question, sir.
Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
Howdy.
You made it.
I've got a question for Matt and Ashley. Matt, how did you feel about Ahsoka being on trial, and who has more dark side power, you or Barris in season 5?
So how do we feel about her being on trial and who had more dark side power? Interesting.
You or Barris?
Come on. It's Darth Vader. Definitely, Anakin. So sad to have her on trial, right? I mean, that was it was very bothersome. I think that's part of the whole distrust of the council and why his spin and all these things. And so, yeah, obviously Ahsoka being treated as poorly as she was a big part of his spiral, yeah.
Yeah, I actually, many of you have already asked me today, my favorite Ahsoka moment of all time is, sorry, spoilers, season 5, where Ahsoka walks away from the Jedi Order. That is, it just, on so many levels. Yes, it's devastating, but it's also hopeful at the same time. And I was just sharing this with someone. Look at that scene again. She's walking away from the darkness and into the light. And I think in so many ways, Ahsoka represents the light side of the Force. But yeah, I mean, another scene that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough is that scene in the tunnel, which was totally a ripoff of, what is it, The Fugitive? It is. That actually was the inspiration for that scene. But that moment between the two of them was so heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Great question.
Thank you. Thanks, Matthew.
My name is Tom. I'm Matthew's chauffeur today, in case you're wondering. Question or suggestion for James. Call James Taylor, the singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Make him change his name so he doesn't crowd you out on every Google search.
Well, you know, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Just remember, you've got a friend. If you need me, I'll be up on the roof. I'm a steamroller. I can keep doing this, yeah. Sorry, for all of you that don't know James Taylor songs, look that up. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Feel free to come to Syracuse, New York.
Okay. We would love to come. Thank you, Matthew.
Padme.
My name is Chloe. I have a question that could kind of go for anybody. With the recent releases of Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Underworld, we've seen a lot more with backstories of Ahsoka, Ventress, other characters. Is there anyone or any kind of story that you would like to see developed, whether you'd be part of it or not, or things like that, that you would like to see in the future with something like that, or like, you know, done upon?
Likondo.
Well, anything with Ondo would be good. No, I don't know. What do you think? Okay. I agree.
No, I know it's intimidating, but that's why I asked you guys, because I don't know.
Well, so we've talked about that.
I was just going to say that, you know, like at Tales of the Underworld, they left her story, you know, where she's on the road again, and she's maybe searching for her love.
Or her cat. Maybe
or her cat, or her hairless cat. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, like what that means for her, and hooking up with her lovely haired fella. I wouldn't mind that, but I would like it to happen like over a 10-season show where they finally get together.
Yeah. Really drawn out.
Really looking for
it.
It's such a rich heritage. It's, the characters are all there, and I think it's so wonderful. There any number of aspects of this whole Star Wars universe can be tapped and enjoyed and mined, and there are universes within the universes, don't you think? I mean,
I'd love to
could
see
just go everywhere.
Enuma, the little Twi'lek that I played in Clone Wars, and then she's also in Rebels. But I would like to learn more about, like just a character like that. And Twi'leks are, you know, interesting, I think, in general. So. Tales of the Twi'leks. Just saying.
Hey.
I want more Anakin and Obi-Wan between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. I want Obi-Wan and Satine's story. I want Jedi Master Plo Koon and Ahsoka and see how that story went. I want Obi-Wan and Ventress off on an adventure together. I want a lot of things, though. So. But Matt and I have talked about like a what if, you know, the Marvel what if stuff.
There is the Obi-Wan Anakin comics. There is the whole Obi-Wan Anakin comic series that exists too.
Yes.
Is that canon? I don't think so, right?
It all changes all the time.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jake.
Hello.
My question is, you actually mentioned it. This is my question on the what if. What if scenarios would you like to see, you know, your characters play out? You know, because I heard a rumor that they were making a Star Wars what if show, and if so, would you come back to voice your characters and like what if stories? What if stories would you like to see play out for each of your characters?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just went through that, but I always say it'd be fun to see Padme and Anakin just super happy on Naboo. just blissful marriage.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. For me, I often think, what if Ahsoka had joined Maul?
I was thinking about that one too.
Yeah. What would have happened?
Yeah. Somebody's saying no.
No?
No. Yes.
Oh, never.
Good man.
Okay.
Yes.
Very strong opinion.
You guys, any other what ifs?
I always like to say, what if it was a decoy in the funeral procession?
Oh, yeah.
What if Obi-Wan didn't have the high ground? Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Wouldn't matter, because look at him and Darth Maul. High ground, low ground, doesn't matter. Obi-Wan wins.
I would like to see Emperor Anakin.
Emperor Anakin.
Emperor Anakin? Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, my name is Matthew. My question is for Matt. So, looking at Hayden's performance in both Ahsoka and Kenobi, his mannerisms are very much like your performance of Anakin. So, I wanted to ask, how great does that feel to know that he studied your performance and incorporated that when he returned?
Yeah, I think that's really cool. We've sort of come full circle. And what I love about that is it really, as if the Clone Wars wasn't just solidified as loved canon that it is, and I think it says something about the fandom of the Clone Wars and kind of what the Clone Wars did for that character, that it kind of brought that heroic Anakin back into the fold, so much so that they want to make sure that they flash back to the Clone Wars. I think that feels wonderful, and it makes the character feel so much more cohesive to me. Because especially early on, a lot of people were like, wow, this Anakin's pretty different. It's not really the same Anakin. I always think of it as he's just in a different season of his life. And I always loved the real dark side moments of the Clone Wars, because for me, it felt like I was anchoring my Anakin in what's to come. It's a really, really cool thing to see, and hopefully fans love that too.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, my name's Dennis, and I have a question for Matt. Get ready for some repressed memories. In Disaster Movie, there's a scene where Hellboy is walking away from a fight with Hulk and Iron Man. He's like, screw this, I'm out, blah, blah, blah. But the line was poorly ADR'd because apparently the line that was originally there wasn't good enough for Disaster Movie, no less. What was originally there? What did you originally say?
Phew, that is a super detailed question that I am not going to be able to answer for you. I don't think I watched Disaster Movie more than once. I don't know, man. I had a great time doing it, and I'm sure there was a lot of silly lines here and there that they took out and added in, and I don't know. Really great question, but unfortunately, I just can't answer that because I have no idea.
Ask ChatGPT.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. I feel like I've disappointed you. I'm so sorry.
Tim.
Hi. What is it?
It's totally Tim Weber.
It's totally Tim Weber. Hey, I'm Tim. So I apologize. This question is very similar to ones that have been asked previously during this panel. But if you guys would come as your Clone Wars characters for some other story that's already been told, what story would that be? For example, if they were like, hey, we're doing Tangled, it wouldn't be Matt playing Flynn Rider, it would be Matt as Anakin as Flynn Rider.
Or as Rapunzel.
Yeah,
yeah, he's got great hair.
Depending on the time. Yeah.
Okay, my brain hurts. I can't even tell what you said.
Would you be? Would Ahsoka be like Alice?
Well, I was just going to say
Looking
that.
Glass?
So my favorite Disney movie is Alice in Wonderland. But
that would be cool.
Yes, but if you think about it, Ahsoka joining the Clone Wars, becoming Anakin's Padawan, it's kind of like Wonderland. Like she, encounters Ventress and Grievous and all of these characters, and then Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I mean,
I resemble
totally
that
joking. But it would be like Wonderland. Wonderland is a coming-of-age story, and I think that's very much what happened to Ahsoka.
Yeah, that's cool.
I kind of like Asajj as like Little Red Riding Hood. Except that when she pulls back her hood, she's like, come on, babies, let's do it. Like with the wolf, you know? That would be fun.
I think Padme could be Snow White, and then the evil queen is Palpatine.
Jeez. I don't know. Yeah. So, okay, Hondo could probably be Charles Bronson in anything. I don't know. You know what? I just realized, could anybody, and I think I'm right about this, and you guys will help me out, where and by whom was the phrase Clone Wars mentioned in the Star Wars universe? Anybody? Show of hands, show of hands. When you had to go get some Hachi power converters. It was by that guy.
Yeah. It was in the first movie, which was the fourth movie.
Yes, very good.
You served in the
who
Clone
knew
Wars?
that
Yes,
a casual
I was once a
mention-
Jedi Knight like your father.
Yeah, and now here we all are.
Yeah. And when I was around, there's only a couple of us on stage that were around when the first one came out. When you heard that, you fought in the Clone Wars, it was like, what is the Clone Wars?
The Clone War, yeah.
And now we're in it.
Yeah. Oh,
whoa,
gosh.
dude.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's very
Thanks,
cool.
Tim.
All right, next question.
Hello, and hello again to the few I've actually met on stage. Hi, my name is Jacob. And if you had a line to redo in the series, like re-record any line, what would you re-record?
Wow.
I just want to say there's so many good questions today.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are asking questions we've
New
never
York
been
knows
asked
how
before.
to ask the questions, yeah.
I'll say I don't. It's not that I would redo it, but I do wish Ahsoka would have said Sky Guy more, and I wish you would have called her Snips more.
I feel like at the time that we were doing that, it was kind of like, I don't know if this
push
is
it,
going to
because they didn't know how
over.
people were going to react.
Yeah.
How about if you did,
Well.
I'm no Jedi? More question mark instead, huh? Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, the whole Sky Guy thing didn't really, kind of people didn't like that. And for the first several years, it feels like. And then it sort of caught on. And
We like Sky Guy, right? And Snips.
Yeah. There's a reason R2E didn't stick. Yeah, that fell flat, and that's okay.
I had one line. The only time where I kind of got into it with Dave Filoni was usually he gave me the ability to kind of take things and Obi-Wan them. So if it's the script says I can't do that, I would say I cannot do that, But there was one line where he said, "You lie." And that just sounded weird to me. It sounded like I was going, "Nuh-uh. You lie." So I would love to redo that line because it just didn't come on. It was like, "James, just read the line." It was like, I was like, it doesn't really feel like Obi-Wan. So yeah, that one I would have said, "That's not true." I would have liked to have said that. That's felt more Obi-Wan to me. So there, Dave Filoni.
Yeah. That'll teach him.
You Lie is like in the 90210 version.
Yeah, totally. You lie.
I was just going to say something. I can't think of a specific line because there are a lot of them. Because I as we were talking before, I tend to not watch things that I do because I don't want to either love myself too much or hate myself too much. And so when I finally went back and watched what I did in this world, I pretty much wanted to redo every line I ever did, only because, or I shouldn't say every line, but what's really interesting is because, we record and then they animate to our voice. And a lot of times, especially like in action sequences, you have this feeling when you're doing it, but when they animate it to it afterwards, it doesn't always sync correctly. And so sometimes when I watch it, I just go, oh God, it just seems like the acting's so bad because it doesn't line up exactly right. So that's how I feel and why I tend not to watch, things that I do so I don't have that reaction.
Yeah, the physicalities of that is, oftentimes like we would correct them if it was a drastic, like, well, we thought we were 3 feet from the person, but it's actually 50 feet.
Yes.
We would redo that, but like there's still a difference in 3 feet and 10 feet.
Yes.
Yeah. But if we read it as 3 feet, then as you look at it and they're 10 feet apart, and it's like, wouldn't they have spoken up a little bit? So there's a lot of things that are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good questions. Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Rustic. My question is, if you, knowing Matt and knowing James, they have, Obi-Wan and Anakin have their big, scene and big fight at the end. Would anybody else, this is to all, would anybody else like to have their own, huge action scene with their characters? And I would really like to hear James Cummings talking about Hondo if he had a huge action scene in the Star Wars series.
If I had a huge action scene
as Hondo in the Clone Wars, like the final fight, what would Hondo's final fight be?
What would his final fight be?
And with whom?
It would be victorious for Hondo, and it would be SOL for whoever he was up against. And thank you, Nika, for knowing what that stands for. And the last 2 words are out of luck. But no, gosh, that's a pretty cool question. How about Dr. Doom from the Fantastic Four? Can line him up. He would have no chance against Hondo. Don't worry about the thing, you're all safe. That will be 5 shabuzis apiece. Thank you so much. Yeah, there you go.
I loved the one when he got shot in the air and he said, "I'm flying."
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he might have had a few cocktails prior to his excursion into the atmosphere. Yes, that was good stuff. Yeah, I just got to say, I'm so happy to be involved with this show. I mean, it's so cool. I remember that there's a place where we all recorded 1,000 times each called, I'll never forget the name. No, it's LA Studios. And you walk down the hall and they're doing shows and they're sweetening them. They're putting in explosions, sound effects and things like that. And they're rewinding tapes. And I'm walking down and I see this new animation and I go, what the heck? What is this? And they go, it's Star Wars. It's going to be a new series. It's out. And they're coming out. And I thought, well, this is going to be a monster. Someday somebody's going to be at a panel somewhere talking about this. And sure as hell, here we are. So yeah, I had no idea I was ever going to be in it, but I'm glad you guys were to get us here. So yeah, good stuff.
That is awesome.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. So yeah,
Thanks,
you
buddy.
guys said it. We've had some fantastic questions here today from Star Wars fans. So give yourselves a round of applause.
Please visit them at their tables for those who didn't get to ask questions, and I'm sure they'll make up great answers for you.
Yes,
They're here all weekend. Before we depart, I believe we have a special presentation
For Mr. Cummings.
here today. So, let me turn it over to...
Hello, Hondo. Don't you remember me?
What's
I'm
that?
Jabba. I'm Jabba the Hutt. And we have something here for you. It's not a puffer pig, but at least something for you to remember us by.
Oh.
We are awarding you our honorary membership for Rebel Legion.
Get out of town. Wow.
Hondo turned into a really good guy. He always had a heart of gold, so he definitely belongs in the Rebel Legion. Can we take a picture with you? Please, Rebel Legion members.
I always knew Hondo was on the good side, yes. We'll awkwardly scooch down.
Thank you, Rebel Scum.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause for the cast of Star Wars Clone Wars.
Hi, this is Michael Shanks, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The fate of the universe may depend on it. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.